The episode of ECW that we're discussing this week is from January 21st, 1997, according to Peacock. There is a lot going on in this episode of the show. And one of the things that's going on is Shane Douglas is feuding with everyone. But anyway, we'll get to that point. But I was just like, Jesus Christ, Shane is feuding with everybody in this company.
That was a shoot.
I'm surprised he's not feuding with himself.
That was his credit card.
He's the only, well, other than Taz, he's like the only heel. Like he's the only big heel they got.
Yeah, you're right. Besides Taz, it was the only big heel he had. But
like they're still trying to develop some other people. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not really a lot of top heels in the ECW right now.
Well, you can't say the Gangsters because they were already baby faces, and yeah, you're right. I mean, but by this point, Shane was already like not even a baby face. He was a big time baby face, almost, right, Aaron? Like he was already over.
And then they've already they've basically turned the Eliminator's face, so it's just like there's not a lot of depth at the top of the heel thing. I mean, Raven, Taz, Shane. That's about it.
Well, who could you bring in? Like
they try. We'll get to it, but they try during this episode with Tommy Rich to introduce him into that mix. If you notice,
well, we're not going to talk about we're not going to talk about that. If you're talking about trying, no. Tommy Rich was on the show, but they weren't trying to introduce Tommy Rich as a new heel.
Joey Styles starts the show in the ring in the ECW arena, does the welcome to the ECW arena jazz, an intro. Then he looks up into the Eagle's Nest and looks longingly into Tommy Dreamer's eyes. As they look longingly at each other, he notices that the triple threat is coming to attack Tommy Dreamer from behind, and they do. The triple threat attacks Tommy Dreamer, throws him off the Eagle's Nest.
This big fucking baseball hat. I hate I hate when people when they don't bend the bill of their hat. I'm a hat guy. I'm not wearing one right now, but like when people just have a flat, like a hat that's not like the bill's not bent on it, and it's just like a wide billed hat. It's like, ugh.
You look like a duck.
You look like an asshole.
Have you ever stunned somebody that had the bill of a hat? No. Why not, dude?
Just like or an RKO.
Dude, seriously, it's not that hard. You kick him in the stomach. You drop to your shoulder, whatever, your butt, and you hit their neck on your shoulder, and they either sell it or they don't. But it's the fact that you did it,
and the hat goes flying. It's
great visual. Of course. Yeah, it's not the fucking like it's not like you knocked him out or anything. It's the fact that I just stunned somebody. I do it all the time. Shit.
Right there in front of the lemons at the Walmart.
Again with the lemons? This podcast is not going to be about the lemons again. It's not going to be about the peaches. These peaches are expired. Don't you get it? They're green. They're
fresh fruits.
They're not fresh fruits.
But yeah, the triple threat throws Tommy Dreamer off down to the floor. Terry Funk comes out to help his stupid wayward apprentice. Tommy's
son.
His adopted idiot son, Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah. Foster Funk.
Foster Funk.
Dude, was I the only one that was pissed off that fucking Terry Funk was there? Like, dude, if I was Terry Funk, I would never answer that phone. Are you just kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, Terry, this is Tommy. I'm in Philadelphia. I have a problem here with Raven. Hey, that's your problem.
We want you to go 25 minutes with Brian Lee.
Yeah.
We'll get to that too, but Tommy's bloodied and put on the stretcher. They go to the back. They show him getting stretchered toward the ambulance, and then this is where I brought up Tommy Rich, of all people, shows up and attacks Dreamer and Funk.
At first.
I was like, "Is that Doug Summers?"
It's like, what's this big lady doing? It's like, what's this shirtless big lady doing? Be like, oh no, it's Tommy Rich.
Dude, what's Tommy Rich doing?
I don't know. Like I said, were they intending to try to put him in, the main event mix here as a heel? I don't know, because I didn't even know this ever happened, to be perfectly honest with you. I was like, what the fuck is Tommy Rich doing here? That's what I thought when I saw it.
I think they were intending on having a Funk Rich feud, I think. They might even have
No, not a feud, Aaron. I think they were having a plan on having a Tommy Rich Terry Funk match, not a feud.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna trust Tommy Rich, for like more than what, I don't know, maybe 2 matches. There's no way So yeah, if Terry endorsed him, then you get it.
Did they ever work any programs together? I don't remember them ever. I mean, I haven't watched everything that's ever been recorded, but
Memphis, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I just don't remember. I don't remember them having much interaction over the years. So,
maybe twice. Maybe Memphis.
They passed paths in the locker room once in a while.
No, I'm thinking twice in Memphis. Yeah, maybe. The best is when Tommy Rich said that he wasn't a big fan of Tommy Rich in, I don't know, 83, when him and Tommy Rich had the tag team things, and Terry Funk came in and said, "I'm not a big fan of that," and that was it. That was it. Like, I'm not a big fan of that. Thank you for coming, Mr. Tommy Rich.
I'm not a big fan of that, and now that's over. Yeah.
Yep. Like that was an angle that I bet you that Terry booked. I bet you there's no chance that Lawler booked that, because if you watch it, it's on YouTube, that you can just see like Terry Funk is like, "Are you kidding me?" He's looking at him like, "What's the matter with you? Who do you think you are?" kind of thing. And Tom Rich is standing there like, "What?"
Somebody say something about "get the fuck out of here."
Yep. That's what he said.
Well, we go then after that whole ordeal, we go back to Joey in the ring, and they play it off like he's supposed to be starting over his introduction to the show after the chaos that we just saw. And he introduces his guest, and his guest is Taz and Bill Alfonso. Another good promo from Taz, and I actually like. I like, it was like weird that he did it, but I like the fact that he defends Sabu during this interview. He does most of the interview as, Sabu. They're chanting for Sabu, and he says, "Well, he's in Japan, dummies. He's not going to come out here. RVD is also in Japan, dummies. He's not going to come out here." And he pretty much just talks about kind of the same talking points that he's been discussing about Sabu. Then the crowd decides to start a "fuck Sabu" chant, and Taz then gives the fucking crowd some shit about that.
Well, he gives like one guy.
He picks out a guy. Yeah, he picks out a guy.
I wonder if that was a plant.
I don't know if it was. I give it credit though, because if it wasn't a plant, it was Taz doing the right thing and making sure, like, I don't want this building to start cheering for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, Aaron, if it wasn't a plant, it was a guy who was always going to be cheering for Taz anyway. So it was probably the same guy. I mean, did you see anybody different in the crowd?
But Like I said, I enjoyed the fact that if it was real, that he made sure he was trying to be the pro and make sure everybody was booing him and not trying to be the cool heel or whatever, which
Yeah, because
obviously we need to go back to.
essentially what he does is he busts the fans' balls because they're chanting "fuck Sabu," and he says essentially you're not allowed to say "fuck Sabu." You've never laced the boots. You've never worked. Pretty much, he's like, I'm a worker, so I can say "fuck Sabu," but you can't say "fuck Sabu" to the fans.
Yeah.
Is the gist of it.
I just still love the fact that I sit back here and watch and know the fact that I know Taz and go, he ain't beating them. There's no chance he's beating them Sabu. He has no interest in even trying to fight Sabu. That's a real person. Just going, fuck, that's stupid. But this thing, like, dude, I'm in. I'm all in on Taz Sabu as far as in the business. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, dude, Taz is gonna like fuck this dude up, man.
And Taz, to his credit, through I'd say, what would you guys say? Let's just estimate through 75% of this feud he's had with Taz. Taz is doing all the work. Like literally, he's doing all the work. He's doing all the talking. He's the one on TV. Like we barely see Sabu. We see Sabu once every month or so, maybe. Taz is on TV every single week doing the work for this feud.
Well, Sabu's never going to be there. He's he's only going to be there once every 16 weeks or whatever, whenever they can book him in between that week, whatever it is. So that's the best part about it is Taz can sit there and just call him out, and be like, dude, I am going to beat the shit out of you. Have you ever wanted to beat the shit out of somebody that you could beat the shit out of somebody that you just couldn't wait for that person to show up? Like, that's what Taz was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just sitting there going, I'm going to fuck you up, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea how bad I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of building anticipation for this fight.
And Sabu's over in Japan wrestling fucking Grey Poupon and shit. And going like, whatever, I'm making like $1,500 a month wrestling, whatever the fuck. Grand Harachi. That's great. Whatever. That's what makes it so great. Like Sabu's like going, I don't even know what this fucking guy's even doing. They're
like, this guy's in Philadelphia calling you out.
Who's telling him that? Like Sabu's in the Philippines and shit. Ain't nobody telling Sabu that somebody's calling him out.
Message in a bottle washes up on the shore.
Yeah. Taz, oh my God, how great would that be?
Taz takes the little paper out and says, Taz called you a bitch.
Are you kidding me, Aaron? How great, or Nate, how great would that be? Nate, that would be the greatest angle in the world. How great would that be if a guy was on the fucking beach? Oh my God.
Message in a bottle washes ashore.
I am going to book that here somewhere. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know where.
You're a little landlocked there in Tennessee. It might not work.
I'm only an hour and 20 minutes from the beach.
Yeah, there you go.
The face sends the message out that he needs help, and then he just gets his message back, and it just says "fuck you." He's waited 2 weeks.
That's what it is. The bottle that washes up next to him that says "fuck you." He gets one bottle that says "help me." The other bottle says "fuck you." Right? All right, Raven. At least I know.
Raven's message. You'd open up the paper and just say "meh."
Nah. At least I know it's from.
Well, the next thing we see on this episode of the show, tag team match. The tag team champions, the Eliminators, against Axel Rotten and Devon Dudley. I'm ready for Bubba and Devon to become a tag team. It's time. I know we're close, but it's time.
Yeah, but they never fucking told you that. Dude, they just took a beating. That's all they did was took a beating. And I sat there and I looked at it and I was like, dude, I know. I do. I'm with you, Aaron. I was like, all right, this is probably this could be where Aaron and Axel and Devon, like a former team, they just took a beating. I was like, maybe not tonight.
Yeah, the match itself has Taz on commentary with Joey, with Taz putting over the Eliminators pretty strong here.
Don't we start to see a theme here with the Eliminators? I've told you about a theme with the Eliminators. Are we starting to see it now?
As far as like the matches they're having, or
no, their dominance.
Yeah, they're and from everything I've read.
Oh, good Lord, you read it.
I read it.
Oh my God, you read it. It's great.
Saturn didn't even want to be in the team at this point. That's why eventually, a few months from now, he's like, "Peace, I'm out. I'm going to WCW." But and that's a bummer. That's a bummer because they were such a great tag team. Like we've discussed, they're at this point they're probably the best tag team in North America, at least.
We've said that probably 4 times, Aaron. We've all agreed that easily that they were the best tag team in America, at least in this year, easily. But they were going to go to the WWE. Is that what the rumor was?
Oh no, Saturn. No, I'm saying Saturn eventually later in '97 ducks out and goes to WCW. And leaves Cronus behind in ECW. But I wish that they would have went wherever they went. If they were going to go, I wish they would have went together and stayed together as a team longer because they could have had such a. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
I was to say everything I've ever heard about Cronus. I don't think if he would have wound up in WCW or WWF, he would have been long for that world. I don't think it would have worked out.
Probably not.
So you still would have wound up with Lonely Perry Saturn anyway. So,
which is that's always blown my mind about some of these guys. Like, and Chad, with you being a worker, maybe I'll just ask you. I've never understood a guy that's like, you know what? I'm about to go work for the biggest wrestling company in the world. I'm going to make the most money I've ever made in my life. I'm going to have so much fucking money. I'm going to become a household name. But you know what? I'm gonna keep on doing the cocaine and ruin it all. I don't know. I don't understand the mindset of I've got this great gig, but I'm just gonna fuck it all up. It's just I don't know. That's why I don't have sympathy for. I don't have sympathy for that shit. You know, like when they're like, "Oh, this guy's
sympathy for it either."
Like you're the one that fucking made the decision to fucking do the booger sugar.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with. I don't have any sympathy for it either. It's kind of like when people make boneheaded like you ever heard Bret Hart talk about that fight that Coco had with that agent or that executive in WWF, and he like threw the guy through the window, and all the boys were like feeling bad for Coco, and Bret was just like, "Oh man, this is the way the ball bounces or whatever," and people were like, "What?" And they were like mad at him, and Bret was like, he threw an executive through a window.
Yeah, what did you think was gonna
happen? What did you think was gonna happen? Like, you should have walked the fuck away.
What's the expression?
Let the guy say
what's the expression? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Like, let the guy say racist shit to you and walk away, because then it's just a guy that said racist shit. But then you threw him through a fucking window, so shit's gonna backfire on you. So
I've kind of got to the point where I just believe whatever Bret says, but it's not very entertaining. But it's like whatever Bret says, you know what I mean? Like, I watch it and I just go like, "You're not very entertaining when you say it." it is what it is. I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not doing it very well. I don't really care about the. I'm trying to care, Brett. I'm trying, but you're not making it worth my while.
Well, the Eliminators win this match after total elimination on Axel Rotten. Taz once again puts over the Eliminators, talks about how much he respects them.
I love this, man. I love this shit. Aaron, you got to get me on this one, man. At least you're my brother on this one.
Well, no, I thought Taz did a really good job on commentary, and it's actually every time he's on headset and doing stuff like this, I think he does a really good job. I mean, and obviously it showed like going forward, it's different than what he does now, but like I think he did a good job on
What
the
he does
announcement of it,
now, he puts over Mansoor and Mansoor and shit. Fuck what he does now.
I know. Aaron and I have discussed this before, Chad. I don't think I've ever asked you. Do you prefer? Okay, which chapter of Taz's career do you like better? Do you like Taz better as a wrestler or as a commentator? Because I personally like him better as a commentator. I think he's a great color commentator.
Dude, I love Taz as the commentator. I'm kind of conflicted because I still do read Taz the fucking sheets, like, I mean, you know what I mean, and I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying, like, you're stupid. That's what I want to say. You're stupid. Yeah, I like Taz. I just like Taz. Like I'm a friend with Taz. Like we're friends. We're good friends. And then but when I hear him do something stupid, I just go like, "You're just stupid."
That's what you do with your friends. That's what you do with your friends.
You're right. And I expect nothing less. Like I'm not going to question him about it because we all saw what happened last night, and and Taz is like, I'm not going to say anything about it. Like, all right, well, I'm not going to ask you anything about it.
Nobody asked you anyway, buddy.
Well, I mean, I did, but I just said like it's stupid, and he was like, yeah, I know. And then he's like, where do you get wings tonight? That's how it ended when the conversation. Where do you get wings tonight?
Shane Douglas comes out now on the show. Here he's back. Here comes Shane Douglas again. This time he's talking about his bounty that he's put on Pitbull number 2. He's not as
doubling it.
What's that?
He's doubled the bounty.
He's doubled the bounty. $100. I wish he would have done the Harley race. Somebody take the damn money.
No.
Kabuki.
How much was the bounty?
Paul Jones. You and your army.
Hunter Q and your army.
How much was the bounty?
He never says.
Yeah, it's ECW, so it's probably like $37.
It's a couple lottery tickets and a pack of
couple Luckies. Scratch offs and a pack of Lucky Strikes.
Yeah, it's a scratcher and some Luckies.
Well, let me ask you, why wasn't the angle anybody asked him what the bounty was?
And JT's like, you make us some cools, I'll try. But it didn't happen.
Why didn't anybody do that?
And it can't be too much because the people that show up to collect are the bad crew. Remember we joked last week about the bad crew still being around, and I was fucking joking. And then lo and behold, here they are.
Yep. There they are. Leather Albano and Lady Alexandria.
Leather Lou's like, I need some new chaps. I gotta get this bounty. I need new assless chaps.
Bounty. He probably thought it was just paper towels.
I couldn't believe that they were still there.
Like, I can use the quicker picker upper on my sweaty balls from this leather. I'm sticking.
Is quicker picker upper on my sweaty balls too long for a title for an episode?
Yeah, probably too much. Yeah, That was enough of that, man.
Well, it's bad. I wrote Bad Breed, but it's Bad Crew, and then Axel and Devon, they come out to try to get the bounty, and that doesn't work. One
Hey,
thing
but
we
that
did
wasn't
leave out,
bad, man. That wasn't a
yeah,
bad
what
brawl, though.
one
Bubba
thing we did
Dudley's out
leave
there
out,
with Pitbull
yeah, I
too
was gonna
as
say,
well.
one thing we did leave out was that Bubba and Pitbull were supposed to be having a match, and Bubba decided he didn't want the bounty and decided to help um, Pitbull too, but it doesn't work out for him, showing once again that you should never try to help people in wrestling. It just turns bad for you. One of two things is going to happen. You're going to help this guy, and you're just going to get beat down in the wave of the attack anyway, or you're going to be friends with him for like 4.5 years, and then when you least expect it, he's going to bash you in the back of the head with a chair. It's like, just don't be friends with anybody.
Why hasn't anybody sat in the locker room with Dusty and just said, "Don't be friends with these people"?
Or Sting. Like we always say, Sting.
Whatever.
Sting has the worst friends.
No, Dusty's the worst. Dusty is really the worst. Why just sit here? Why can't you just be an employee? You know, just sit here and do it. Why do you have to fucking sit here and try to make friends? You know, I mean, do you think George South was sitting there like making friends?
And look how many times he got backstabbed. None. He just
Right.
lived his little peaceful life, had a couple victories here and there.
There's not a big history about George South's backstabbing. But look at Dusty. How many friends stabbed him in the back? Tommy Dreamer. What a fucking fag. Tommy Dreamer stinks.
the triple threat guys, like Aaron said, they come out. Candido and Brian Lee. They choke slam Pitbull number 2 through a table. So it looks like the heels have won the battle here. And then we go to...
That was good, though, man.
Yeah.
That shit was good, man.
It's also Shane. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna say they did it, and then like the last month and a half, 2 months, they've been teasing whether or not this is the triple threat, and this is actually the first time that Shane, after they beat the shit out of everybody, actually yells triple threat. So this is officially Shane Douglas saying that he's reformed the triple threat with Brian Lee and Chris Candido. So,
dude, my ass would have been cool with Pitbull 1 and then Pitbull 2, and maybe somebody else just being like, "Fuck all you motherfuckers," you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna do our own shit, you know? Like, I would have been cool with that, but I was like, dude, don't be triple threat. I don't want to see Pitbull 2 and the triple threat.
The next thing we get on the show is Terry Funk versus Brian Lee. All right, so
the less you say, the less you say, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking. I want to look at this from the Booker's perspective. I understand.
It was terrible.
It was. It absolutely was. I understand what they're trying to do. They have Terry Funk. Somebody somewhere, Paul Heyman, I don't know, sees something in Brian Lee, and they're trying to use this guy. They've been using him. He's been feuding with Tommy Dreamer since fucking seems like 1982.
Brian Lee was going to get Brian Lee was going to get Paul into like all these little towns. That's what. I mean, is that a secret? Do I not?
I didn't know that. You're telling me something I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Well, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything other than being a big fat stupid guy. Yeah, but he was booking like Paul's stupid little shitty towns. So he wasn't going anywhere. You know, he wasn't going anywhere.
Literally, he's not going anywhere.
So you had to figure out what's he gonna do. You know.
And I understand him in a position. I understand putting a guy like him in the triple threat with Candido and Douglas because he is a big guy. He can be kind of an enforcer, but he's not a guy I want to see wrestle Terry Funk for 15 fucking minutes. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? He can serve a purpose, but this ain't it.
Yeah, that's not it. No, it's not it. I mean, it's no offense to him at all. Like, I mean, I don't know Brian Lee. I've only met him a few times or whatever, but no, seriously, you're trying to draw money here, right? Is that what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to draw
and you're
money.
just drawing flies at this point with this thing.
I mean, I wouldn't even know how to explain it to him. Like, you know, as far as the payoff, I'm trying to draw money here. There's no chance that you versus Terry Funk aren't drawing money. No, you versus Aaron Maxson, maybe. Aaron, would you fight him?
I fight who?
Brian Lee.
I would never fight Brian Lee. I mean,
why not?
Absolutely not. Like, if I met him now, I'd be like, "Oh man, you're awesome," like, to his face, and then when he'd walk away, I'd be like, "Fucking suck ass bitch."
It's a payday, buddy. How bad can it be? It's a boot that he thinks would be good, but you know, he was squashy with it. But I mean, no big deal. Fuck Brian Lee.
I'm gonna go over a little bit of these notes here that I have, and then if you guys have any notes,
I
anything,
really have no notes of this.
They kind of, like I said, this match it was far too long. It was much longer than I expected it would be. There's inside the ring, there's outside the ring. They do some walking brawls.
It was a good match.
Some chair shots. I mean, for the ECW arena crowd, it was a good live match.
You guys never been there, man.
No, I have unfortunately never have. But no, I mean, like I said, I can see what they were trying to do here. Terry kind of is obviously doing the kind of working from underneath kind of thing here, like he does very effectively. He's also he's starting to introduce some things that I love. The reason Terry Funk's one of to me, the top 3 pro wrestlers of all time is there's very few guys who have been able to evolve for each era that they're in. You know, you see miserable failures at it, like Chris Jericho. And then you see somebody like Terry Funk.
Dude,
that
Chris Jericho was your number 1 go-to?
Yeah, fuck him. To Chris Jericho, I think Chris Jericho. I don't want to get into Chris Jericho. It's a long fucking conversation.
I would have thought Roddy Piper would have been your first one.
But Terry Funk, I think, was the best at evolving into and being a chameleon. You know, kind of like evolving into whatever era in his extremely long career that he could. You know, you see Terry Funk, and then I'll use it as an example. His brother. Like Terry Funk evolves as a performer. Dory Funk is in 2000 whatever, still wrestling like it's 1969, and it's still fucking boring, Dory. And
well, Nate, I'm sorry, but your brother is he's going to be in like Dory's wedding, I think.
He loves the lemon head.
he's like I can't. I mean, I'm not gonna shit on Dory because I think your brother's gonna be in his wedding. He's gonna be there when he marries Mari again.
The renewal of the vows, because Dory forgot who she was 10 years ago.
Dory, yeah, I can see that.
It's like a new romance.
Dude, fuck. I mean, what's wrong with that? Fuck, who the fuck is this?
But the
I don't think,
imagine the honeymoon.
I don't think Aaron has any fucking interest in Dory Von Jr.
It's wavered. Like I started out like liking to make fun of the guy, but it's like I'm even getting bored with that old piece of shit. Like I don't know. I've never like there's from every generation there's guys that people are like, oh, this guy was so great, and when I look at him, I just don't see it. And he's on my list of I just don't see it. That would be a fun top 10 list we should do one day. Just our
I
top
don't
10
fucking
lists of
see
I don't fucking see it.
Fuck
And
all y'all.
he'd probably be number 2. I just don't see
What?
it. The only time I found him mildly entertaining was when he was in WWF with Jimmy Hart. Other than that, I just have no anything for him.
You're crazy.
Like
Dory fucks
if
Jimmy.
he would have worked for me in the WWF back then, I wouldn't even have made him a cowboy. I would have brought him in and I would have made him like an international heartthrob, like a stripper. And I wouldn't have made him Hoss. He would have been like
All right.
he was the
I'm
sexiest
done.
man alive.
I'm done.
And he was a big hunk, and his fucking name would be Hunky Dory.
I'm done.
He has rip away chaps.
I'm here for all the ladies.
Yeah,
All the ladies.
I can't beat that. That's
Hunky Dory.
That's tremendous. Hunky Dory.
Check out my cattle prod. And then he would have ripped off his little tearaway cowboy pants.
I'll take that. I'll take that as a great fucking answer. That's tremendous.
Speaking of Hunky Dory, we wrap up this match. Shane Douglas and Chris Candido come out to interfere. The triple threat put Terry Funk through a table. Brian Lee pins Terry Funk. Let me just say that again. Brian Lee pins Terry Funk.
That crowd was like, oh, what the fuck? like all of them just audibly said it like at the same time, like, what the fuck? They're all fuck this shit.
I'll let Aaron say that.
And then after the match, Brian Lee doesn't do what he does best.
Nothing.
Does what he doesn't do best, they should say, and tries to cut a promo.
Terry saves him. Terry saves him.
I know, but the promo is weird because they're laying there like post coitus. It's like, why are they cuddling? Like, stand up and talk to him. It's like you're laying there like stroking his hair. Like, what is going on?
It's like there was an episode of Monday Nitro that I happed upon recently where Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff are cutting this promo, but they're laying next to each other in the ring. And I was like, well, this is the gayest fucking thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling.
Yeah. It's terrible. I know that promo. And like Bischoff's like eye fucking him. Yeah. Like, at least Sean and Vince stood up when they eye fucked.
Dude, I'm not getting in all that. That's your show. I'm saying on the ECW, I can't remember what I was even gonna say, but I think it was on the ECW. It was like, yeah, it was all good because it was look at this, not like it was like Aaron, help me out here, or Nate, help me out here. It wasn't like look at this. It was like this is what we're doing. Check us out.
Yes, and you're right. It was they had to. If you look at the three big promotions in North America in 1997, ECW was the promotion that had to do the most to attract the most attention. You're absolutely right. I think that's what you're trying to get at. Is they have to make the most noise because they have to attract. They have to be the shiny object. Yes.
Yeah, because you had like Japanese doing like big sake dicks and shit and big like bukkake stuff that Aaron likes, and I don't give a fuck about all that shit. But I mean, I'm like, dude, what America? We're in America. What is and I'm just like, dude, this is good American wrestling. Sorry, Aaron. I don't know.
I just thought it was weird. I just didn't like them like laying there next to each other. I just didn't like it.
Well, all you gotta do is just touch her. Him.
Like, I was like, are they gonna kiss? Like, what's happening?
I have no idea what your kink is.
Well, Chad's favorite person, or Chad's mom's favorite person on ECW is next. It's Joel Gertner.
Oh, good Lord!
An uneventful segment with
my
Joel
dinner
Gertner here.
He's got a hair out of place, and it's his chest hair. So he combs his chest hair, which I have a feeling means they got to the end of whatever run they were doing with their live event, Hype Central type stuff, and that was like, okay, this is the end of this month. Like, this is the end of this recording session or whatever, because they didn't. Yeah, like you said, he doesn't even talk about anything. It's just, I'm the quintessential stud muffin.
It's just
I got a hair
them,
out of place.
As I say, it's just
It
them
got him on the
reminding
show.
us, reminding us that he's here and who he is and what he is, and it's all
All
entertaining.
right, so why would you ruin this? Why would you end this? Like, what is your rationale about this? What do you think?
With Gertner?
Oh, yeah, why would you ruin it?
No, I thought this was fine. I just, like Aaron and I were saying, it seems like this week's Hype Central with Joel Gertner, they didn't really have a lot going on, so they just let him talk about his chest hair. You know, normally it's about a minute and a half or whatever, and he talks to a wrestler or what have you. This week it was just.
But you said it's going to end. Like, why would you end it?
No, I'm saying I'm just saying, like, the month of January is over, and so this was probably like the last thing they filmed, and they were just kind of like out of ideas, and it was like, just comb your chest hair and let's be done with this month.
Well, why not have you doing it, Sean? Why not you be the guy doing it? How about you?
Douglas and Francine are in the ring as we head toward the end of the show. Shane Douglas and Francine in the ring. Shane Douglas pretty much cuts a promo that he has no competition left. He's laid out Tommy Dreamer. He's laid out Pitbull 2. Triple Threat's laid out Terry Funk. And then Don Jardine comes to... No. A masked man comes to... I was like...
Jardine?
I was like, it's Rick Rude in a mask. But I was like, with like
it's Don Jardine.
When he has the fucking, he has like the sweater on and
it's
stuff.
Don Jardine. Could you imagine?
when he has the sweater on and shit, but with the mask, he's channeling Don Jardine.
Aaron, can you just figure this out? The spoiler is coming out. The spoiler.
Spoiler alert! It's not him. But anyway.
What?
I like the fact that everybody knew who it was right away. I think it was a tongue-in-cheek thing. I think they were partially kind of making fun of WCW, even though people probably didn't get it when they brought Rude in as the Halloween Phantom. Like, I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Like when he showed up,
the least convincing
guy. He's the least convincing guy you could put in a mask and have talk.
Well, even during that match,
voice in the world.
Even during that match at Halloween Havoc, when he polishes off Tom Zink, Tony Schiavone literally goes, "Oh, that was a rude awakening."
Wow, he even says, he's like, "Oh, that was a rude awakening. That's Rick Rude under there." You know, like, Nate, he just says it.
Nate, you sound like Tony Schiavone has a furniture business.
Tony Schiavone sofas and chairs.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the absolute biggest sale in the history of furniture sales. It's the
biggest sale in the history of wrestling. Like, what is it, Aaron? That one, he's like, it's the match that wrestling's been waiting for. It's the Harris twins versus who is it? Fucking, like, it's like, okay, we're done with the hype here. It's him and it's the Harris brothers and Chronic. Yeah,
they come out and he says, "This is the match the world's been waiting for." The Harris brothers versus Chronic.
And funny. He knows that he is full of shit.
Oh yeah, he says that. He's talked about it because Tony's fucking funny. He's a funny dude. I don't listen to it anymore, but he was like one of the last like podcasts of like that Conrad deal that I would actually listen to because I thought he was funny. And he said that. Like, he said that place was a coffin on wheels. And like he got to late 98 and just said fuck it and was like, I'm just gonna be fun. I'm gonna make myself laugh. And if nobody else laughs, I don't give a shit. But yeah, he said he didn't take that shit serious in late 98 up until they closed. He didn't take that serious. He thought they were gonna go out of business before they even did.
Aaron's the best, dude. You're the best.
So Rick Rude is out in a mask. Talk shit to Shane Douglas.
We're all just dead over here. Rick Rude is out with a mask.
And he brings out Much to Shane Douglas's surprise, Gary Wolf.
Dude,
He's
are you?
back.
Dude, enough. I mean, I'm dying over here. He brings out Gary Wolf. That's just, and I bet the crowd went mild during
The crowd went banana, as Pat Patterson would say.
I'm sure they did.
Banana up the butt.
Banana up the butt.
You did miss what Rude said though, because Flair or Steve Douglas told him, "Why don't you take off the mask and show the world who you are?" And he was like, "If I take off my mask, you're gonna shit your pants." And nobody wants to smell that. Yeah,
that was cool.
If I take off my mask and you really see who I am, you're gonna shit your pants. I don't know why I thought it was a funny line, but I was like, that's a fucking funny line. And I don't know why I honestly don't know why they did. I don't know why they did the mask thing, but I enjoyed it.
Well, they had to because of the contract gimmick.
Was it the Lloyds of London thing?
Dude, I'm not that fucking smart. I just know it. I just know it's a contract thing because that's why you didn't see him as fuck. I ain't that fuck. You know what I mean?
So at the end of the day, watching this episode of the show, everything being hunky dory, as you would say. What did you guys think overall of this? Because I didn't hate this episode. There was good stuff in here. The only complaint I really have, honestly, and I know we do a lot of fucking poking fun and busting balls on this show, but the only complaint, honestly, the really only complaint I had, I did think that Terry Funk and Brian Lee was too long. It served its purpose for what they wanted to do. I just thought the match was too long.
Maybe. I guess. Yeah. You can probably argue that. Yeah.
I didn't like that match.
Too long. It was 9 minutes.
It was too long at 9 minutes.
So are you telling me that Brian Lee can't have a good match with Terry Funk for 9 minutes?
I don't think Brian Lee can have a good match. But anyway, I liked it, and I thought it was a lot of times ECW is just like a lot of different stuff thrown together, you know? And I have no problem with it because it's supposed to be chaotic or whatever, but this actually felt like a wrestling show, if that makes sense. Because it had like it got bookended, you know, like it started out with Shane being on top of the world and taking everybody out, and then it ended with like Rick Rude showing up, scaring the shit out of him, and then like
that kind of lends it.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say that definitely lends itself to the point Chad was making earlier. Was they are trying to at this point, especially because they have a pay-per-view they want to sell. They are trying at this point to tell as good of stories as they have and be as cohesive as they can to attract an audience that, you know what I'm saying? Like they want to get new viewers. They want to bring new people into the product. And sometimes the erratic shit that they've done in the past probably wasn't attracting. You know, you're going to get the people that you're going to, like, what does Cornette say? The people that like that are the people that are going to like it or whatever. But they're at this point trying to appeal to a more mainstream audience.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
No?
No, I don't.
I don't know. I just see a little bit more cohesive product, like Aaron was saying, as far as putting the show together, making everything make sense, kind of bookend every episode. But overall, Chad, what did you think of the show?
I thought it was good, man. I really liked it. I mean, I had a great time watching it. I mean,
and you can definitely tell they're in pay-per-view mode.
Well,
let's sell some fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, they're definitely like gearing up for that shit, man. So I give it a B plus, easy.
And to round things out for this week's episode of the show, I just wanted to make mention because, you know, we like to acknowledge our listeners if they comment, if they make some kind of a suggestion or what have you. And I know, Chad, you said a joke in our chat a little bit earlier today about this, but we had a listener named Ryan Evans on YouTube that commented if we knew what we were going to do after we're done with ECW in a few years. And he said, do world-class championship wrestling. Ryan, we have not even crossed that bridge yet because we have quite a few years of ECW left. I might be dead by then, but
it's only a couple weeks.
Remember how long it took to get through 96?
World class?
World class.
It's Von Erich's fever. Seriously, come on. We'll do it.
Arman Hussein. Come on. Arman Hussein.
I'm in.
King Kong Bundy with hair.
Yeah. The early WCCW, everybody looked like a
hey man, I'm in. All right, I'm already in.
Frank Dusek.
Frank Dusek.
Sleazy porno guys.
As soon as we get to all it is Von Erich's fucking Freebirds, I'm out of here. But I'll definitely do like before the Von Erich.
It's all Frank Dusek.
I'd love to review that shit.
Bronco Lubitsch.
Fuck yeah.
Sit down to count.
Not my fault. It's his fault.
All right, everybody. We're going to sign off for this week. We'll see you next week as we continue reliving the extreme as we head toward Barely Legal with ECW. It's going to be a cool few months of the show. And then we'll watch the promotion peak, but we'll get to that later. We'll see you next week, everybody.